What up, what up, what up, what up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the one, it's the only, it's the motherfucking general coming at you guys right now on this, what is this, Wednesday evening, Thursday afternoon, whenever I decide to release this clip. Ladies and gentlemen, General just got back from the sports book just now, about like 20, 30 minutes ago. Literally just got back about 20, 30 minutes ago. And laid my bets for the week for Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I mean, I was going balls deep in the sports book, ladies and gentlemen. I was letting them bitches know the general ain't playing around this week. The general ain't fucking around. The general's here to pipe it down, bitches. So really excited to let these plays out. As always, 100% free, 100% transparent, and 100% for the world to fucking witness. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let us get started and make sure you guys are writing this shit down because this is going to be a monster week. So let's begin. We have the we have that Thursday night game coming up. Saints at Rams. I'm taking the Rams on this one. I think the Rams are going to make the postseason. I think the Rams are going to make it to the playoffs. And I think the Rams are a better team. You know me, I don't like Derek Carr. I don't fuck with Derek Carr. Fuck Derek Carr. His bitch ass injuries. Always complaining that his pussy hurts. Always saying he's fucking injured. Always got some bullshit going on. You know, one day it's his knee, one day it's his shoulder, the next day is the pinky, the next month is his thumb. I mean, fuck, the whole year just complaining about his pussy. So, I've never been a fan of Derek Carr. I don't like Derek Carr. I don't fuck with Derek Carr. Fuck Derek Carr. He a bitch ass fucking quarterback. And he's just a pussy in my opinion. So, he's going out there to LA to play the Rams. The Rams have finally started going on a winning streak. And I would remind you guys, I think the only reason the Rams started off, kind of soft this season was because they were dealing with a lot of injuries, particularly on the offensive line to start the season. And I think that's a really big deal when you have an immobile quarterback. I mean, let's be honest. Matthew Stafford, he's not running away from nobody. This dude, you know what I mean? He like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Like he just stands in the pocket like a statue. He ain't trying to escape. He ain't trying to run away. He ain't trying to he ain't doing none of that shit. Ain't no tush push for him. This motherfucker standing back in the pocket. So when you give him an offensive line that's dealing with a lot of injuries to start the season, of course he's going to struggle. Of course he's going to suck ass. And I think the Rams secondary obviously is not what it used to be when they had Jalen Ramsey. It's a lot of rookies and second year players on defense. So they had to figure their shit out and make sure they were squared away. And on offense, you know what I mean? Cooper Kupp coming back from a season-ending injury a year ago. They got that new kid on the team. I forgot his name. Pookie, or whatever the fuck his name is. Little fucking Troy Polamalu looking self. He looks like he's going to be good. I think he has I think he's leading the team in receptions and yards this season. But it's been an up and down year for the Los Angeles Rams, and I think a lot of it just has to do with injuries and the fact that they're starting so many rookies and secondary players on defense. And I think coming into the season, a lot of people, including me, I thought this was going to be a throwaway year for the Rams. I thought they were just going to tank. I thought Matthew Stafford was, I think he was being a little selfish, kind of selfish. With not taking the pay cut. It was reported on the offseason that the owner of the Rams reached out to Matthew Stafford and the GM, and they were saying, hey, Matthew, we really love you. You're a great guy, great QB. You help us win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? You did your thing. But, we want to win another ring. We want to win another Super Bowl. But the problem is you're taking up, a lot of the money, and we're not saying you're not worth it. But, if you could just take a little pay cut like Aaron Rodgers did in the offseason, like Tom Brady's done historically throughout his entire career, and Peyton Manning when he was with the Denver Broncos, if you could just take a little bit less money so we can continue to stack the roster around you, that would help us. It would allow us to give you a better offensive line, better wide receivers, and maybe a better defense or two. Right? But in order to get these players in the offseason, in order for trade for them, before the trade deadline, excuse me. In order for us to do that, you're going to have to take a pay cut, my guy. And Matthew Stafford basically said the owner's a bitch. He told the GM to fuck off, and he told the whole team they can suck my balls, suck my dick. I ain't giving away no money because I earned this shit. I won the Super Bowl. I did what I was supposed to do. I delivered a championship, and I brought the city of LA another fucking ring, another fucking banner in the new fucking stadium when the Super Bowl was in our stadium. I did everything I was supposed to do. So I get it. You guys want me to take more money, take less money, excuse me, to add more talent to the team. But bro, you guys knew that shit was gonna go down as soon as you guys gave me the money. As soon as I signed the contract, you guys should have been more prepared for this, not me. So nah, I'm not taking a pay cut because this is gonna be the last contract I ever see. So I need to maximize my money, maximize my profits, and maximize my income because honestly, he only has 2 or 3 years left in the league. Let's just be honest. Matthew Stafford's not going to be playing till he's 45. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? He's getting up there, and he's like I said, he's a immobile quarterback. This dude is not running around. He just stands still in the pocket, and he's been getting hit. You know what I mean? For a long time now. So honestly, I thought this year, with them having to trade Jalen Ramsey and them getting rid of, letting a lot of players walk away in the offseason, like Bobby Wagner and them. I feel like there was a lot of people that just left. OBJ left to the Ravens. I mean, they basically let everyone walk out the door because they couldn't keep nobody because they didn't have the bloody money. So I look at it from that perspective, and I'm not saying Matthew Stafford was wrong. I understand why he did what he did, but I also understand where the team was coming from. Like, bro, we want to win another championship. We don't just want one. We want like fucking 2 or 3 like Kobe. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to stack rings up in this bitch. We're trying to stack championship rings, championship banners. We want the fucking Lombardi trophy up in here, man. We want another one. You know what I mean? Like DJ Khaled fucking always says, another one. So, I understand where the Rams were coming from, but I also understand where Matthew Stafford's coming from. Like, bro, I only got 2 or 3 years left in the league. I can't be giving away money for free. Like, I got to maximize this income because this is going to be the last time I ever make this kind of money. Because I don't know what he's going to do after he's done playing, but, I don't know if anyone's going to pay him this kind of fucking money, 20, 30, 40 million a year. You got to be kidding me. So he's not Tony Romo. I don't know they're going to give him a big contract to go to fucking Fox Sports or something. So, and he's not Shannon Sharp. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have that TV personality. So I don't know what Matthew Stafford's going to do. He's probably just going to fuck off and retire, live his best life in Los Angeles, probably making a lot of money from sponsorships. But again, I think that's why the team is saying, bro, you're already making so much money off the field too with all your off the field sponsorships. Like, you can afford to take a pay cut or two so we can win another championship or two. And he was not having it. He was like, nah, bro, that's on you. You guys need to fix this, not me. You know what I mean? And so Matthew basically told the team to fuck off. He's not taking a haircut for nobody. And so that's why in the offseason, they let so many players go in free agency, and they basically traded away half their fucking roster on defense, and they started a bunch of fucking nobodies on offense. And that's why we are where we are. And so that's why guys like me, we said coming into the season, we wouldn't be surprised if this is a throwaway year. Seattle and 49ers are probably going to make the playoffs again. Kyler Murray is probably still going to be dealing with his bitch-ass injury again. So this might be a year where the Rams just say, you know what, fuck it, let's just go low-key tank. Because we have this kid out here in LA playing college football by the name of Caleb fucking Williams. And he's out here winning the MVP trophy, won the Heisman last year. And he started off the year fucking hot. Caleb Williams was fucking lighting up the scoreboard, throwing fucking 5-6 TDs, touchdowns everywhere, telling all his receivers, you get a TD, you get a TD. Caleb Williams was lighting college football on fire, him and Deion Sanders, for like that first half of the year before they both ended up tanking in the end. But the point is, to start the year, to start the season, Caleb Williams, he was the MVP. He was the Heisman winner front runner. Everyone was fucking, talking about his ass. Oh my God, he's the next Patrick Mahomes. OMG. He's it. He's the next guy, So, yeah, with that being said, I think a lot of people like me said, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams start to quit and start to fucking throw away the season. That way they can draft a kid straight out of USC And what better place to play? You know, USC, Caleb Williams, you know what I mean? McVay's offense, LA Rams, you know what I mean? A great person that could eventually replace Matthew Stafford because he's not going to be playing for more than 2 or 3 years. Matthew Stafford could probably be a good mentor to somebody. So you could start Caleb Williams and have Matthew Stafford as like the perfect backup because he already won a Super Bowl ring in McVay's offense. And, you know, and you could actually add, you know, years to Matthew Stafford's contract and say, hey, we're going to give you like a 2-3 year extension. We're not going to pay you as much money, but we're going to make you a backup, which means you're going to have more job security. Because if anyone deserves to be a backup, you know, for McVay, it'd probably be Matthew Stafford. So I thought that was going to be like a perfect, like, passing the torch moment where Caleb Williams could take over the offense, could be the fucking, you know, QB for the next 20 years under McVay's offense. And you put Caleb Williams under McVay, man, that offense would be fucking disgusting. That shit, they would just destroy and murder everything. I mean, Caleb Williams to me is the truth, but you put him under an offensive coordinator like McVay or Shanahan, whoo-wee, sheesh, they be lighting up NFL touchdowns, in my opinion. So I thought that's what the Rams were going to do. I thought they were going to be smart, just tank the season, try to get Caleb out of USC, get that number 1 pick. And, you know, either let Matthew Stafford ride off into the sunset with that Super Bowl ring or, you know, sign him to a 2 or 3 year contract extension to be the backup for Caleb Williams and the mentor for Caleb Williams. I thought that just made sense. To me, that was just common sense. But, you know, here comes Matthew Stafford still trying to win games. Now they're not going to get a high draft pick. And instead, they might fuck around and make the playoffs because now the offensive line is getting healthy. The defense is starting to play more and more together. You know, they're starting to click on all cylinders and they're starting to win some games at the end of the year. And now I think they're saying, fuck the draft. Let's try to fucking make some noise in the playoffs and let's see if we can do some damage or two. So with that being said, I'm very bullish on the Rams here to finish out the year. I do think the Rams are going to make the playoffs, and I think they should make the playoffs. Honestly, and this is just me, this is my opinion, I think it's either going to be Seattle or it's going to be LA, but if I had to choose, I'd rather see LA. Because Seattle, I feel like, I don't know, I'm rooting for Seattle in the way because I feel like they're easy money to fade. If Seattle ends up making the playoffs again and they have to play like the 49ers in like the first round, or they have to play the Cowboys again in Dallas again in the first round in the wild card, I feel like they're just going to get their shit rocked. They're going to get romped out there. So it almost doesn't matter like if Seattle makes the playoffs because let's be honest, nobody believes in Geno Smith. Like he's good and all, but he's not like a franchise QB, and I feel like he's finally getting exposed. And by the way, that Drew Lock kid, he had one good game, but let's just be honest. That was against the Eagles team that looks like they're finally falling apart. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Philly, but I did tell you guys that I was leaning towards Seattle money line. Remember that? On my last podcast, I told you guys Seattle money line. That was the play to me. I ended up not betting it, but I was leaning towards the Seahawks. I ended up, already rolling over my bets towards my max bet that we talked about yesterday. With Deontay Wilder and AJ, Anthony Joshua and, the 49ers money line. So I ended up rolling over that shit. So I didn't get a chance to bet Seattle on the money line. But with that being said, I did tell you guys that was my lean, was Seattle money line. So congratulations for those of you guys who cashed out on that shit. But anyways, I think if Seattle makes the playoffs and they have to play either Dallas or San Francisco in the first round, I don't know. I think they'd rather play Detroit, honestly, because I think Seattle played Detroit earlier than the year, and I think Seattle actually beat Detroit because Detroit, they started off in their season opener, if you guys remember, and I do because I'm addicted to football. Detroit started off the season opener in Kansas City. Remember that? When Mahomes didn't have Travis Kelce or that big dude, I forgot his fucking name. That big black dude on fucking defense, fucking defensive player of the year, dude, whatever his name is, whatever. Brain fart, can't remember it. But you guys know who I'm talking about. They didn't have their, star defensive player. He was holding out because of contract issues. And then he didn't have Travis Kelce because he got hurt during the practice or whatever. So no Travis Kelce, no fucking, defensive player of the year. And honestly, if the Kansas City receivers just catch the fucking football, which they haven't been doing all season long, like little fucking butt-fuck retarded kids, these fucking dumbasses, fucking assholes, man. I feel like Mahomes all year long has been throwing fucking dimes to these receivers. And these bitches just can't catch the football. They just be dropping everything like, fucking dumbasses, bro. By the way, those receivers in when they played the Patriots a week ago, they almost lost to the Patriots. Patriots defense was coming up with pick sixes and fucking interceptions. And dude, Mahomes was pissed on the sideline. I remember watching him on the replay. As soon as he threw the ball to Tony or whatever his dumbass is, and it hit his hands and it bounced off and it went to the Patriots fucking DBs and they ran that shit back, almost got it for a touchdown. Mahomes went to the bench like, fuck, dude, catch the fucking football. Fuck, man, you guys suck. You guys are sorry. You guys out here playing like some bitches, man. Fuck. I'm over here laughing. I'm like, ah, that's what Tom Brady used to do. Tom Brady used to feel the exact same way. Tom Brady used to be on the sidelines looking at all his receivers, and it was the same thing. Mahomes has Travis Kelce and nobody else. Well, back in New England, towards the end of his time with the Patriots, it felt like Tom Brady had Gronkowski and nobody else. You know what I mean? It felt like it was basically, two quarterbacks, and the only person that can catch the ball is their fucking tight end, not their receivers. And I feel like I feel like Tom went through the exact same thing towards the end, of his time in New England. So it's just funny watching, Mahomesy go through the same experience now, where he's just frustrated with all his fucking receivers because none of them could catch the football. And sometimes it feels like the running backs are actually better wide receivers than the actual wide receivers. I feel like some of these running backs are actually better in the passing game than the wide receivers whose only job is the passing game. And I felt like, again, Tom Brady went through the same thing. I remember Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, he wasn't even trusting his receivers. It was basically Gronkowski, Edelman, and that running back, I forgot his name, that ended up scoring the touchdown to win the Super Bowl. But Tom Brady went through that same shit too, where he basically said, I trust one receiver, one tight end, and my running backs to catch the ball in the passing game. And he didn't trust some of his wide receivers either. And I feel like Patrick Mahomes is going through the same thing where, he likes Pachenko because Pachenko can run the ball and he can catch it. And, Kelce can do his thing, but the rest of the guys, it feels like they don't want to step up. And so it's just funny to me because I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Mahomes and the Chiefs now versus Brady and the Patriots towards his end of time with the Patriots. So anyways, yeah, so, Detroit ended up winning that game to start off the season, and they got all big-headed because they were like, yeah, we beat Mahomes, we beat the Chiefs, yeah, look at me, Jared Goff for MVP, you know what I mean, all that bullshit. And then they went back home to go play Seattle. And Seattle, who lost to the Rams opening week, which actually cost me money, because again, I thought the Rams were, going to play for nothing and just tank the season so they can get Caleb Williams out of USC. Well, they ended up playing Seattle, who had a good year last year. I mean, yeah, they got blown out by the 49ers, but who didn't last year, right? And this year. So yeah, Seattle had a good year, even though they got smoked by the fucking 49ers in San Francisco in the playoffs. But prior to that, they had a good year with Geno Smith, and everyone was talking about him as comeback player of the year. So I said, man, week 1 of the season opener, Geno Smith, Seattle, opening week versus the Rams. Shit, give me Seattle. Fuck the Rams. They're trying to tank to get Caleb Williams out of USC. And what ended up happening? Here comes fucking Matthew Stafford fucking balling out in Seattle. And Seattle got their ass whooped in Seattle. So week 2, they had to go play Detroit, who just had that monster victory, fake ass one to me, against the Chiefs. And by the way, again, Mahomes almost won that game at the end of regulation. But again, here comes Tony dropping everything like a dumbass. And so Seattle had to go into Detroit week 2, who was coming off that momentum and that fucking sugar high. And Seattle went into Detroit and just whooped that ass. You know what I mean? And they looked like the Seattle Seahawks that, like they were supposed to do. And so, you know what I mean? Seattle's kind of been up and down too. But yeah, I think for me, Seattle, if they do make the postseason, they're either going to have to play the 49ers or the Cowboys. And if they do have to play the 49ers or the Cowboys, I feel like they're going to get their ass whooped. Cause 49ers, they basically gave them an ass whooping. Even though I think in that game it was kind of close, and I think the Seahawks were saying that the refs, basically cost them the game. Maybe they did, maybe not. We'll see. But if they have to go play, San Fran in the playoffs, they're going to absolutely get smoked. And I think the only 2 teams that Seattle can beat in the playoffs would be Detroit, which they already did in week 2. But I don't know if that's just because they're a better team or if Detroit was just coming off that sugar high and they probably got big headed after beating the Chiefs. And then they went home and probably overlooked Seattle because they said, yeah, y'all bitches lost to the fucking Rams. Get out of here. And then Seattle showed up and they fucking came with some fucking retribution, some payback, some vengeance for that ass. And they just blitzed Detroit in Detroit. So I don't know. Maybe Detroit would win the rematch, but I feel like Seattle could potentially beat Detroit again. That's a maybe. And the only other team in the NFC that they could potentially, match up against would be, maybe the Buccaneers. But nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch Geno Smith versus Baker Mayfield. The battle of mediocre quarterbacks. I mean, Mayfield's having a good year, but let's not pretend like he's fucking elite. You know what I mean? He's playing good, relative, for his career. But let's not pretend like Baker Mayfield's MVP either. You know what I mean? He's good, but at the end of the day, he has a ceiling like a lot of other quarterbacks do. So I don't know. I don't want to see Geno Smith versus Baker Mayfield. That shit sounds boring to me, honestly. Like nobody would watch that game at all. That would be like the Saturday morning game in the wild card round. In the wild card round, you guys get like it's like 2 or 3. It used to be like 4 games on Saturday and like 4 games on Sunday, some shit like that for the wild card round. Yeah, that's probably going to be like the Saturday morning AM game, 10 o'clock in the morning when nobody's even fucking awake on a Saturday. You know what I mean? By the time you wake up, the game is over, like 12 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. That's probably going to be that game. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to watch it. Nobody fucking cares. It doesn't matter who the winner is. They're both going to get blown out in San Francisco anyways. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a, look away game. But anyways, yeah, so for me personally, I would love to see Seattle have to go. I would love to see Seattle probably have to go play either Detroit in a rematch. They could probably end up playing Dallas in a rematch. They could end up playing the Eagles in a rematch, or they could play San Francisco again in a triple rematch. And I feel like if they have to play either of those teams in the postseason, I think Seattle probably gets beat. And I think it almost doesn't matter. I think they get beat by Philly, they get beat by Dallas, and they get beat by fucking San Francisco. The only 2 teams they could possibly beat would be the Lions again, and that's a maybe, right? I don't know if they're a better team, or if Detroit was just coming off a sugar high, or maybe they could beat Baker Mayfield and the Bucks in Tampa Bay, maybe. But again, that'd be like a look away game for me. I don't even want to watch that shit. I'll stay asleep. Fuck that shit. So, anyways, though, Seattle's up and down, but I feel like that's kind of their ceiling. Their ceiling would be maybe they win one round in the playoffs, and then they get smoked in the second round by basically anybody. Versus the Rams, I think the Rams are a much more interesting matchup. I think the Rams would put up a good fight against both Dallas and, Philly. And even San Francisco, because you know what? The 49ers have played the Rams, 2 times every single year, sometimes even in the postseason. And even though the 49ers win most of the time, it's always a close ball game. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just matchup issues. But the Rams and the 49ers, they never blow each other out. It's always like a fucking 1-score ball game. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. Like, they play each other extremely tight because Shanahan and McVay they're playing chess, not checkers. They're always trying to figure out what the other one's going to do. And I think the only difference this year is that Shanahan has a better roster and McVay has an older QB who's taking up a lot of money, so he has to rely on fucking rookies and shit, versus Shanahan has a bunch of fucking experienced vets, you know what I mean, with Brock Purdy and shit. So, I don't know, I think San Fran would still win that shit, but it would be a close game. They wouldn't blow them out by 30. The Rams just, they're too good, especially on offense, and that would probably be like a 37-27 or 37-21, or 31 type of ball game. I don't think it would be a blowout. But I don't know. I think the Rams are a much more interesting matchup. So if I had to pick, I'd much rather see the Rams in the postseason than Seattle. I don't really give a shit about Seattle. They can suck my dick. I'm done with Geno Smith. Again, the only reason I would root for Seattle was because it'd be easy money to fade them in the second round. And I basically bet the entire bankroll in the postseason that Seattle gets blown out by fucking 49ers or some shit. But other than that, that's the only reason I want Seattle to make the postseason is because it's easy money to me. But otherwise, I think the Rams are a much more interesting matchup. I think the Rams are going to make the playoffs. Seattle might make it too. Who fucking knows? Maybe you get fucking 2 teams, coming from the NFC East, or West, but who knows? But anyway, so yeah, I got the Rams beating the Saints. Fuck the Saints. Fuck Derek Carr. Fuck his face. Fuck his life. Fuck his whole career. He ain't nothing but a bitch to me. So yeah, that's my play there. I'm taking Rams on the money line, minus 210. All right, next up we got Saturday game, Saturday football. What we got? We got Bengals and Steelers. I'm leaning Bengals, but I'm not going to have a play on the game because, as you guys know, I already have a maxed in, guaranteed, all out fucking bet this weekend with AJ and Deontay Wilder and the 49ers. So I'm not going to have any money to put on this game because I'm going to be looking at the boxing event that we talked about last night, the heavyweight matchup out there in Saudi Arabia. And I think AJ and Deontay Wilder are both going to win their fights and smack the shit out of these guys who are just looking for a fucking payday out there in the Saudis in the Middle East. Then they're going to go back to their hotel room and fuck some Middle Eastern bitches that look like Kim Kardashian. Cute face, slim waist with some big ass cheeks. Hell yeah. Yay, yay. So they're going to tap that shit doggy style all night long in the Middle East. So, you know, it'll be easy money for me. So I'm going to be focused on that rather than NFL on Saturday. But if you're asking me for a lean, Bengals versus Steelers, I'm leaning Bengals -2, -2.5, anything under 3. Only because I thought the Steelers were going to win last week. They cost me money in that Colts game. And the only reason I took them versus the Colts, despite the fact that they have Mitch Trubisky, what a fucking dumbass, was because that Ben Roethlisberger podcast interview where he came out talking about the Steelers are playing like pussies, the Steelers acting like bitches. They don't got the heart to be a Steeler. They ain't got the pride to wear the uniform. They don't have the mentality it takes to represent Pittsburgh. And they don't got the heart of a fucking Steeler. They don't deserve to don the black and gold. And when he was talking all that mad shit about these Steelers not carrying the tradition and playing like bitches and, you know, letting the fucking Hall of Famers, you know what I mean, making them embarrassed, you know what I mean, to call them a Pittsburgh Steeler. I was like, damn, man, he was going hard on them fools. But at the same time, I feel like they deserved it because all these dudes they don't play with heart like they used to. TJ Watt is the only Pittsburgh Steeler who actually brings his A game every fucking game. The rest of them, they're kind of like, yeah, bunch of fucking IG fucking players, Instagram fucking hoes. Like, these dudes, he's right. They don't really have that pride. They don't really wear, you know what I mean? Like, they're not representing Pittsburgh like Troy Polamalu used to. Like, they're not repping that shit. They're not playing that hard. They're not focused. They're not, you know what I mean, driven. They don't have that mindset. So I actually agreed with Big Ben, even though I thought he was kind of overrated in the second half of his career. First half of his career, he's a Hall of Famer. Second half of his career, he was a shitbag to me. But anyways, versus the Bengals, look, the Bengals been winning games. The Bengals backup, fucking Browning, he looks like he's fucking the next Joe Burrow. He's over here throwing dimes to Jamar Chase. And when I listened to all the interviews, Jamar Chase basically said him and Jake Browning, they sat down in the locker room after the Joe Burrow injury, and Browning basically said, dude, you know, I don't really understand all of the plays in the offense. So if a play ever breaks down or I'm ever confused or I'm ever lost, just keep running down the field because I'm going to throw the football straight to you. Because, you know, I'd rather throw an interception trying to get you the ball than, you know, get a sack fumble because I held on to the ball too long. And Jamar Chase was like, hell yeah! Jamar Chase over there gave him that Denzel Washington look like, shit, my nigga. That's exactly what I needed to hear. Hell yeah! That's how you drive. From now on, that's how you drive. That Will Smith fucking attitude in Bad Boys 2. Like, from now on, that's how you pull the trigger. That's how you play QB. So Jake Browning told Jamar Chase after that Joe Burrow injury, like, bro, if I'm ever lost, confused, scrambling out the pocket, don't know what to do, I'm just going to say fuck it and throw the ball straight to you. And you just do what you do. And Jamar Chase got all happy, lit up like a Christmas tree, like, ooh, finally a QB who understands me. Just give me the fucking football. I'll make the play. Don't worry about it, dog. So I'm glad that Browning's taking advantage of Jamar Chase and said, fuck it. You know, if everyone else is fucking one-on-one and I got Jamar Chase one-on-one, I'm going to throw him the ball every single fucking time downfield. And I'm going to let him just do what he do. You know what I mean? Because again, he said, I'd rather throw an interception trying to get the football to you than stand there like a dumbass and get a strip sack and a fumble in the pocket. You know what I mean? Like, fuck the bullshit. I'll just launch it 50 yards downfield. And if they intercept it, then it's basically like a punt anyways. You know what I mean? So he kind of has that mentality of, I'm just going to get Jamar Chase the football. So I really like how he's playing. I'm not saying he's better than Joe Burrow, but he's basically doing what Jamar Chase wanted Joe Burrow to do, which was fucking look for him more. So I don't know. I feel like the Bengals still might make the playoffs. And I know that sounds crazy that they're going to make it without Joe Burrow, but, last year we saw Miami make the playoffs without fucking Tua. You know what I mean? We saw the Baltimore Ravens make the fucking playoffs without Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? So that shit can happen. So I'm looking at Cincinnati and I'm like, shit. The Ravens and the Miami Dolphins both made the playoffs last year without their starting QBs. Why can't Browning? He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's looking for Jamar Chase down the field. Hell yeah. That's what he wants him to do. So I don't know. I feel like I'm riding with the Bengals on this one. Again, I don't got money on it because I'm focused on Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua out there in the Saudis. But this is an interesting game to me. If you guys are looking for a lean, I'm leaning Bengals -2. And again, I feel like Steelers, man. I thought they were going to show up last week in Indianapolis when they were playing the Colts after that Big Ben and Roethlisberger interview. And for them to play like bitches and let me down, that shit was frustrating. That shit was sad. That shit was depressing. That shit was a letdown. I feel like Troy Polamalu was probably out there crying somewhere thinking, damn, man, how did we let this shit happen? How did we let these bitches wear the fucking black and gold uniform? That shit don't make no sense. I'm like, yeah, it's true, bro. I don't know what to tell you, So anyways, so that's my lean there. Next one, we got Bills at Chargers. Bills at Chargers, that's kind of just boring. I feel like that's a blowout. It's at 5 o'clock in the evening. Nobody's going to watch it. I don't even know if anyone's going to the game. I feel like people got better shit to do on a fucking Saturday afternoon. Saturday, 5 o'clock in the evening, people going out, they're, getting turned up, they're pre-gaming, taking some fucking Modelos, some Corona, some shots of tequila, looking for some fucking coochie, trying to figure out if they can get some pussy tonight. Like, Saturday night, bro, in Vegas, LA, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, Miami, Texas, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. Ain't nobody watching the Bills and Chargers game. That shit's boring. You got to be a football addict like me to watch that shit. But even then, I'm going to be looking at Deontay Wilder and knock some foos out. So I don't even care about Bills and Chargers. I might watch it if there's nothing else to watch. But I'll probably be in the backyard fucking barbecuing or something, grilling up some carne asada or something like that. You know what I mean? Getting ready for fucking Christmas. But nah, I'm not really fucking with the Bills and Chargers. They could both suck my dick. I think the Bills will win, though. And honestly, I can see the Bills winning the rest of the games for the rest of the season. A lot of people are saying if Miami loses against Baltimore and then Miami loses against Dallas, that last game of the year will decide who's the division winner. Because then Miami has to play Dallas this weekend, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Then they got to play Baltimore, and I think, a lot of people are thinking Baltimore are going to take that game. And then at the end of the year, they got to play the Bills. I think the Bills are going to win. I think the Bills are going to win out, and I think the Bills are going to beat Miami in Miami. I think the Bills finally woke up, and I think it started after that bye week. Because remember, they were losing. Then they went into the bye week, and then after the bye week, they beat Kansas City in Kansas City, and then they went home and they beat Dallas in Dallas. They fucking murdered them. They murdered Dallas up in Dallas, and I had money on Dallas, so that was fucking upsetting. And now all of a sudden they got to go to the LA Chargers without Justin Herbert, and they finally fired Stanley, who was a dumbass. And I told you guys for months and months and months since the start of the season that they should have been fired that fucking buttfuck moron. So I feel like this is an easy win for the Chargers, for the Bills. I just don't like the money line and I don't like the spread. So I'm probably just going to parlay this on some of my tickets. I'm probably going to parlay the Bills and the Rams because the Rams right now are -210 and the Bills are minus like 800, minus 850. So I'm probably going to parlay the two because I think the Bills are guaranteed to win. So I might just use that to kind of bring down the juice, and I'll take the Rams with the Bills this weekend. So, yeah, I think the Bills are easy money. I just don't like the 12, and I don't want to put it on a teaser. So I'm just going to just take the free money line and just take that with the Rams. So that's what I'm thinking of doing this weekend. All right, let's finish off this Sunday ticket. Next up, we got Colts at Falcons. Nobody cares. I don't care about Gardner Minshew, and I don't care about the Falcons. Fuck these bitch-ass Falcons. I can't believe they lost to the Panthers last week. You got to be kidding me. So that's a stay-away game for me. No lean, don't care. Who cares, honestly? Next up, Packers, Panthers. Go figure. I've been riding the Panthers all year long until last week, and then finally when I decide to fade them, they win their fucking second game of the season. You got to be kidding me. So the one time I don't take the Panthers, who I've been betting on all year because I said they're going to win more than one game this season. Go figure. The one time I jump off the fucking strategy is the time it fucking finally hits. So it fucked me. But now they got to take on the Packers, who everyone was talking about. Oh, look, what's his name? What's his nuts? What's his face? What's his name? LaFleur. They were saying LaFleur was 15-0 in December, and then Stephen A. Smith got on First Take, and he was like, nah, fuck that shit. LaFleur is only 15-0 December because he had Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what LaFleur looks like in December without him. And then sure enough, they went 1-0 in December when they beat I forgot who it was. They beat somebody in December, and then they lost against the Giants, and then they lost against the Buccaneers. I took the Giants on the money line, and I took the Bucs on the money line. So I've been successfully fading the Packers for the last 2 weeks, but this week's a stay-away game for me. I actually think the Packers are finally going to win this week. I don't think the Panthers are going to win back-to-back games this season, but I don't like the spread or the money line here either. -5, -240. But on the other side, the Panthers are only +190. I feel like the juice isn't worth the squeeze here. So, nah, no play for me. Not enough juice. Juice not worth the squeeze. I need more than that. So, stay away game for me too. Next up, Browns at Texans. I don't know. I feel like with the Texans, they won last week, and I faded them against the Titans. I took the Titans -3 because they don't have C.J. Stroud, and they ended up winning without him. And now they're playing again without C.J. Stroud. And the Browns, who I've been riding for the last 2 or 3 weeks, because Joe Flacco is trying to resurrect his career out there, it's tough, man. It is really tough. Shit, man. The Texans defense is a good defense, though. I don't want to fade them. And Joe Flacco, especially, lately, he's been struggling against elite defenses. But at the same time, Browns have an elite defense, too. So I'm leaning towards taking the Browns +120, but I don't know. I feel like the Browns will probably still make the playoffs, but I also think the Texans will make the playoffs too. So this is another stay away game for me. I'm not going to make it complicated. I'm not going to overthink it. I don't have a real good lean, and I don't want to bet something if it's only 50-50. I want to stick with my bets that I really believe in. So I really believe in the Rams this weekend, and I really like the Bills this weekend. Everything else I'm not really fucking with. Not because I don't believe in it, but I don't believe in it enough. And I want to be focused on the games I like the most, not the ones that are 50-50, because that's how you can start to lose money. So I'm staying away from this one. Next up, Seattle Titans. Nobody cares. Again, Geno Smith, Titans, Will Levis. I don't really know. It's a stay away game for me. Titans are eliminated from the playoffs, but Derrick Henry says he still wants to leave it all out there on the field. So maybe the Titans win even though they're eliminated, because Derrick Henry still wants to, leave it out on the field. But at the same time, I feel like the Titans suck. And then, Geno Smith and the Seahawks, I don't even know if he's going to be playing next weekend. So stay away game for me. Next up, Commanders at Jets. Nobody cares. Literally 2 loser teams. Stay away game for me. Next up, Lions at Vikings. I feel like the Lions should win this game. The spread is only -3, but I don't know. It's a divisional game on the road. Those can always be a trap game, so stay away game for me. Jags versus Bucks. Another really tight game, 50-50. They got this game as a pick'em. The Bucks have been winning lately, and the Jags have been losing lately. The question is that going to continue, or is it going to finally reverse itself? I don't think the Jags are going to lose their games for the rest of the season, but I don't think the Bucks are going to go undefeated for the rest of the year either. So eventually the Bucks are going to lose, and eventually the Jags are finally going to win. The question is that going to start this weekend? I don't know. I feel like this is so 50-50, and what did I just say 2 minutes ago? I want to stick with the games that I'm super confident in and that I believe in the most. And this game to me is 50-50. I don't know. I lean with the Bucks, but I could easily see the Jags finally winning because I don't think Trevor Lawrence is just going to keep losing nonstop. So I don't know. It's a stay away game for me. Next up, what else we got? We got the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Finally, a game that I'm going to put my money on. All right, who we got? Dolphins, Cowboys. Dolphins -2, Cowboys +110, +115. Ooh. All right, so for this one, I'm going to take the Cowboys on the money line. And the reason is because I think the Dolphins are going to lose this week. I think they're going to win against the Ravens, and I think they're going to make that Bills game basically for nothing. So I do think Miami's going to beat the Ravens. But if they lose to the Ravens and they lose this week to the Cowboys, which I think they will do, then what that means is at the end of the year when they have to play the Bills, that game's going to be for the entire division. I think the Bills are going to win that game in Miami. Even if Miami ends up beating the Ravens like I think they will. And by the way, you guys are going to think, why do I think the Dolphins are going to beat the Ravens in Baltimore? Easy. Because I think this weekend the 49ers are going to destroy them. And I think the 49ers are going to expose all of the holes and weaknesses in Baltimore's secondary and in their linebacker position. And I think if the 49ers figure out a way to score 35 points or more against the Baltimore's defense, I think Miami with McDaniels is going to look at that film and be like, oh, damn, Shanahan was really able to like highlight a lot of like deficiencies inside the Ravens secondary, which is trash to me, and their linebackers, which are okay, but it's kind of average. Yeah, Baltimore leads the league in fucking sacks or whatever, number 2 defense, but that's because they've been playing a lot of overrated teams, not necessarily because they're elite, but because their strength of schedule is super weak. So to me, I look at it from that perspective, and I think when the 49ers put up 35 or more against Baltimore's defense, McDaniels is going to look at that and say, ooh, I was able to highlight a couple things, and I think me and Tyreek are going to be able to figure a way out to get him open, and I think he's going to explode on their secondary. And I think Tua and Tyreek are going to go off in Baltimore, and that's why I think Miami's actually going to beat Baltimore on the road. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to do it. Now, what's interesting is if they beat Baltimore on the road, then that means when they play Buffalo Bills at the end of the year, they're already going to have clinched the division. The only way Baltimore actually wins that game to me is if Tua just continues to fucking throw INTs and fumbles the football, or if the referees say, fuck that shit, we're going to make sure you lose because we want that game at the end of the year between you and Buffalo to get those major ratings and for that entire division to be on the line. Either one of those options can be true, but to me, I think Baltimore is going to win that game at the end of the year no matter what. Because even if they don't win the division, they're still going to try to get in as a wild card team. And I would love to see Josh Allen and Von Miller and Stephon Diggs as a wild card team having to take on everybody on the road. That shit would be interesting to me. It'd be fun. I would like to watch. So, I don't know. I think Dolphins are either going to lose all their games for the rest of the year or they're going to lose at least 2 out of 3. But either way, I have them losing this weekend to the Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys, who just got embarrassed out there in Buffalo, I think they got to show up. If they lose to the fucking Dolphins on the road, man, their season's done. If they lose to Tyreek and them boys in Miami on the road, their season's done. Because now, like, to me, that's just too many losses, and I think that's too many blowouts where you're just constantly getting exposed. They got exposed by the 49ers. They got exposed by the fucking Buffalo Bills that just play harder. If they get blown out in Miami and this shit's like 35-17, that's just that just means that structurally there's too many issues. And to me, the biggest issue they have is that they lost fucking Trayvon Diggs. And I think Trayvon Diggs is one of the best corners in the NFL. And the fact that he's out and he's one of the best, not just the best DB in the team, but maybe arguably the best DB in football, and he's already gone for the rest of the season, I feel like their secondary is getting lit up now by a lot of elite wide receivers. So if Tyreek ends up fucking going off and fucking taking off on them hoes and ripping them apart, bro, like that just shows you like they need more help. That even though they have a good front 7, a good front 4, their secondary is weak without Trayvon Diggs. So, and that could easily be possible where Tyreek just goes off this weekend. So I think the Cowboys have to win this game, and the only way they're going to win this game is if they get to Tua before he's able to throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. So they're going to have to blitz the shit out this dude. Hopefully they can get it done. I'm betting on the Cowboys, but we'll see. All right, next up. We got by the way, the Cowboys game, I'm taking them on the money line. All right, next up, we have Cardinals at Bears. Nobody cares. Stay away game for me. If you ask me which way I'm leaning towards the Bears. I don't trust the 4.5, and I don't like the -220. The only reason I think the Bears beat the Cardinals is because the Bears don't have to worry about their draft pick because they're basically getting the Panthers pick, versus the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. He's still trying to play and, show the team that he still has what it takes. But I don't know. I think the Bears are. I don't know. I think the Bears are going to win, but it's a stay away game for me because who cares? Next up, Patriots at Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to win this game, but I don't trust the -6. That seems like a lot to me. 34 for the over/under. I don't trust that either. It could be a 6-0 game, or it could be a 21-18 game, like when they played the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday night. And I don't trust the money lines either. So I just don't like the juice here. I don't like the -6. I don't like the 34, 35, and I don't like the -275. So the Patriots Broncos game is also a stay away game for me. Which leads us into finally the final countdown, Monday Night Football. Let me see. Monday Night Football, we got the Raiders and Chiefs. Raiders and Chiefs, I am going to play this game. This is going to be a teaser for me. The teaser for the Raiders Chiefs game is I'm taking a three-team teaser. Excuse me, a teaser, 7 points with 3 picks. Number one, for the Chiefs, instead of -10, I'm going to get a -3 because, again, it's a 7-point teaser. And then what I did is I took the over in the game. Right now, the over is 41. I took that shit at over 34.5, which basically means I just need 5 touchdowns. The game is in Kansas City, which means I think the Chiefs are going to score at least 3 to 5 touchdowns by themselves. 3 to 5 touchdowns, which means I need the Raiders to score at least 2. I think the Raiders are going to put up a fight. I think the Raiders are, they're playing better under their new coach that just blew out the Chargers 63 to fucking 12. I think the Raiders are catching steam. I think they're catching momentum. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the postseason, but I feel like they would be a dangerous team. But I fuck with the Raiders. I like their head coach a lot. I hope they get to keep the job. I think he's great for the locker room. I think he's great for the players, and I think the city is starting to embrace him finally. So I like the Raiders. I think they're going to score at least 14, hopefully. Again, I like their backup QB, O'Connell, excuse me. I always thought he was better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but I understood why they got Jimmy Garoppolo because that was McDaniel's guy back when he was with the Patriots, so that made sense to me. But I always thought that O'Connell was a better QB. I just didn't think he would get an opportunity to play because McDaniel's a bitch like that. So glad he got fired too. Fuck that bitch. But anyways, yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. They put up 27 out there in New England, even though Mahomes threw 2 interceptions and they still put up 27. And at the end of the game, they could have put up 35, but they decided to kneel instead of scoring one more touchdown. But realistically, Mahomes basically scored 35 points in New England and still threw 2 interceptions. I mean, he's finally getting in his receivers' asses. They still keep dropping the fucking football, but I think they're making adjustments. I trust Andy Reid. I trust his offensive play calling, and I trust Mahomes and Travis Kelce to keep yelling at their guys and putting their foot up their ass. Not to mention, I think they're probably going to have Taylor Swift in the building. You know how that shit is. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win this. So I got them on a 7-point teaser. I took a -3, and then I took it on the over. So instead of 41, I got it over 34.5, which means I just need 5 touchdowns to win. And then I also threw in the 49ers. And instead of 49ers -6, I got the 49ers +1. So that's my 3-team selection or 3-pick selection for a 7-point teaser. Chiefs -3, over 34.5, and then 49ers +1. All right, second to last, we have Giants at Eagles. Eagles are -12. You got to be kidding me. That's too much. I don't trust the spread on that. Over-unders 43. I don't trust that. And I don't want the Eagles -550, but I also don't want to take the Giants +400. DeVito, he seems like a good kid. He was kind of all energized. He was hyped up. But now I'll be looking at a lot of these reports on ESPN, and I feel like him and his agent are more focused on making off-field money than he's focused on studying film in the film room. He's out here delivering pizzas and shit and showing up for stupid events and signing autographs and T-shirts. And I'm like, bro, sit the fuck down somewhere and go in the fucking film room and study, bro. That's why your team's been losing. Get your fucking shit together. So I feel like he's not focused. I feel like, the Giants are eliminated. So he's kind of just like having fun and enjoying life and YOLOing shit. And he's out here signing autographs for money. And I get it. It's not his team. It's fucking, Danny Dimes. But still, I don't like what I'm seeing. I feel like him and his agent are a dumbass, and they're more focused on making money off the field than he's focused on his fucking career and trying to get a job next year. So I don't like it. That just seems stupid to me. So I'm staying away from this. And then last but not least is my biggest bet, my favorite bet, and my all-in bet of the week. I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers on the money line, minus 240, not the minus 6, but the minus 240 money line to beat the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to get exposed. I think they're going to murder them. I think they're going to destroy them. I think they're going to kill them, and I think they're going to blow the doors off them. I think 49ers are going to win this game easily. I think it's a blowout. I think it's a massacre. I think it's a bloodbath, and I think they're going to fucking just expose Lamar Jackson for the fucking running QB that he is, and they're going to expose those fucking receivers as dudes that can't get separation. I think 49ers are going to win this shit easily in a landslide. It's going to be a beatdown. It's going to be an ass whooping. It's going to be an ass beating, and it's going to be absolutely fucking devastating. Ladies and gentlemen, give me the 49ers on the money line, and I'm parlaying everything with Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, money lines in the Saudis, boxing, heavyweight champions, all in, guaranteed, max bet of the fucking week, of the year, of 2023. Lock it in, all easy money, profits guaranteed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for listening, thank you guys for subscribing, and thank you guys for riding with the one, the only, the motherfucking general. See you guys next week.